All right, now we're going to go over some basic instructions for launching your boat. First things first, you need to put your bilge plug in. Your bilge plug goes into the hole furthest to the bottom. That's your bilge hole. You put it in, you hand tighten it, just twist it in to tighten, untwist to loosen. It'll come in and out. If you do not put your bilge plug in, you put the boat in the water, your boat will sink. These other holes back here for live wells. If your boat has a live well, this is your intake grate. These are outlets. These do not need to be plugged. Your bilge is the hole furthest to the bottom. That one does need your plug. Next, you also need to know about taking your trailering bar off. You can do that if your motor has a trim switch back here. You can push this button. When you raise the motor from the back of the boat, you can remove your bar. You can put it in the boat, put it in the truck, wherever you want to go. You also need to remove your tie downs. You have tie downs on the back of the boat. Before you take it down the ramp, you need to remove your tie downs. So before you take it down, you also need to keep it in the trailering position. So keep your motor up, take your tie downs off, put your bilge plug in. Now you're ready to take your boat down the ramp. Now that we've backed our boat down the ramp, we can talk about lowering our motor and starting the boat. So when you get down the ramp, you can now take your tilt switch here on the throttle and you can lower the motor down into the water. Now that the motor's in the water, we can start the boat. We currently have it hooked up to a garden hose with muffs, and we're turning the water on to start it. But if you're at the ramp and you're in the water, the motor's down, you can start the boat now. Now we're in the water, you can fire the boat right up. You also need to have your red lanyard attached to the throttle and attached to your life jacket. The boat needs to be in neutral for it to start. The lanyard needs to be on for it to start. If for some reason you're on the water, you fall out of the boat, this is attached to you. This comes off when you fall out, the motor dies. It kills the engine. This is supposed to come off. So you get back into the boat now. In order for it to start again, you have to reattach the lanyard. If you do not, nothing will happen. You turn the key, nothing will happen. You need to have this lanyard back on, flip it to the run position. Now you can start the boat again. Start right up. If your boat is not in neutral, nothing will happen. If your lanyard is not attached, nothing will happen. Your boat needs to be in neutral. Your lanyard needs to be attached to you. Now, your boat will start. If neither of those two are on, your boat will not start. You need to have that on. Now we'll go through some basic instructions here at your helm. On this particular boat, the most important part here is there's a master power button. You need to have that in the on position for any of your things to work. So the radio to work, the fish finder to power on, you need to have the master power on. That'll also work your bilge, your aerators if you have aerators, your anchor lights, your nav lights, everything will work off that master power switch. If you do not have it, at the end of the day, if you want to turn everything off, you get out of the boat, you turn the master power off, that turns everything off. And you take your keys and you're good to go. Some other important parts about the motor in the back, as you can see, we have it hooked up to a garden hose running on the water. You always want to make sure the water is on before you start the motor, or ideally it's down in the lake before you start it. That stream of water is what you want to see coming out of the side of the motor. That is making sure the water is pumping. If you don't see that or it's dribbling out, you need to have that looked at. That's showing that your motor is pumping water. And the other important part back here is your gas tank. Make sure you put gas in it before you go out.